A very good evening. Yet again, thank you for joining us on Uctv News. I am Nora Sende to bring you the bulletin. It is a lovely Tuesday. It is the 12th of November 2024. Tonight we're starting off our newscast with a move to advance disability inclusiveness in higher education. The Chambogo Vice Chancellor, Professor Eli Katunguka, has called on the annual budget of 3 billion Uganda shillings. That is to support students with disabilities pursuing higher education. Now, speaking today at the Uganda Media Center, Professor Eli Katunguka announced a two-day disability conference aimed at developing strategies to improve accessibility, enhance learning resources, and present research initiatives to foster inclusivity within Uganda's higher education system.
The Chambogo University Vice Chancellor, Professor Eli Katunguka, notes that while students with special needs are equally Ugandan citizens entitled to equal rights, they are often denied learning opportunities at other tertiary institutions and referred to Chambogo University, which is currently supporting 241 students belonging to multiple disability categories under a tight budget. To address this challenge, Professor Katunguka is calling on the government to provide extensive funding to enhance accessibility and convenience of a learning environment for students with special needs.
And provide for these people is quite cumbersome because you must be able to provide facilities for them to learn. People who cannot hear, you must be able to provide interpreters for them. We have lecturers who cannot hear, and we must provide interpreters for them to be able to teach. So the whole enterprise of providing inclusive higher education is fairly expensive. And we have always called upon government to come forward and support the university to provide for these people. They are Ugandans, they are neglected in many areas, and Chambogo University has been able to provide facilities to welcome them.
Professor Katunguka stresses that the forthcoming conference, happening on 14th to 15th of this month at Chambogo, seeks to address a significant gap in inclusive education advocacy and disability research by refocusing attention towards a relatively neglected area of disability inclusion in higher education.
We have organized this conference to be able to bring together people who are in academia, in research, and people who support people with disabilities to come together and share information and knowledge on how these people can be provided for so that they can access higher education. Because in many areas, these people are neglected and nothing is done to them. But Chambogo University has come up to provide for such people so that they can also access higher education and lead a better life.
Meanwhile, he has criticized the National Unity Platform President Robert Kyagulanyi for what he described as staging a publicity stunt by feeding government-sponsored students from public universities as though they were starving.
So they were not hungry people. If these politicians want to give food to hungry people, they know where these people are. But I think it was a gimmick. May I take it as a joke. It was a joke. And granted, there are people who are short of food, even some students, but not government-sponsored students. Because all government-sponsored students in Chambogo had been paid their allowances. So all the money due to them was paid to them.
On 1st of this month, the National Youth Platform Party leadership hosted and shared luncheon with a number of government-sponsored students from public universities who claimed to be starving and languishing in despair after their non-resident Uganda shilling 799,000 entitlement has been delayed for 3 months. Joseph Kabale, UCTV News.
Now, Hoima Catholic Diocese is urgently calling for financial and food contributions to support the upcoming National Youth Conference set to host over 10,000 youth from Uganda and neighboring countries from December the 10th to December the 15th of this very year. Now, with a total budget of over 800 million Ugandan shillings, but only 120 million secured. Now, the Vicar General, that's Monsignor Robert Aboki, is urging the community, corporate organizations and well-wishers to rally behind together to fund this impactful event. The conference that's themed "Those Who Hope in the Lord Will Run and Not Go Weary" aims at empowering the young people spiritually, emotionally, and physically as they prepare for the 2025 Jubilee year. The upcoming National Youth Conference, scheduled for December 10th to 15th, will bring together around 10,000 young people under the theme, "Those who hope in the Lord will run and not grow weary," provided by the Holy Pope to prepare the youth worldwide for the Jubilee year 2025. This annual event, led by the Uganda Episcopal Conference, rotates across the 4 ecclesiastical provinces of Uganda. This year, the Mbara Ecclesiastical Province, with Hoima Diocese as a host, is set to create a vibrant space for spiritual, emotional, and physical growth, encouraging the youth to connect deeply with Christ. Monsignor Robert Aboki, the Vicar General of Hoima Diocese and the parish priest of Hoima Cathedral, highlights their preparedness.
Being a national event, still Hoima Diocese must be at the forefront. That means that we must be seen to be ourselves, our young people, participating in full. So we have engaged our young people. We have resurrected some of these youth movements. And then we have sensitized our catechists, because our catechists are very, very vital about this, the passing on of information. So that is on level of information. But there is also the other level of engaging the major stakeholders in this. The other stakeholders apart from the church. So we have been reaching out to government. We have been reaching out to government. We have been reaching out to NGOs. We have been reaching out even to other religious communities.
Hoima Catholic Diocese is rallying support to host the major event that promises to inspire hope and unity among the youth from Uganda and the neighboring countries. However, a path to hosting this transformative event comes with significant financial challenge. The budget for the conference stands at 812 million Ugandan shillings, yet the diocese currently has only 120 million Ugandan shillings in funds.
That we ourselves are praying for and trying to embrace that this event is possible. Even when now, out of our budget of over 800 millions, we have roughly in cash, we have roughly only 120 or so. But then you can see that we have already appealed for food items from our people. We have already written many letters dispatched to different people. We are preparing for fundraising dinners in the different vicariates. See, all these, we don't know how much we shall get out of them. But again, I say, the same hope that we are trying to instill in the young people is the same hope that our organizing committee must have.
Further, Patrick Mugisha Amolti, head of the conference's finance committee, acknowledges the economic challenges but remains optimistic that with support, this vision can be realized.
Our total budget is over 812 million shillings to manage this event of the National Youth Conference, which is going to take place in Hoima Catholic Diocese in the Mbara Ecclesiastical Province. Fundraising is always never an easy task, and particularly when we come to these times when the economic conditions are a little bit hard, and to raise these funds to manage this event has not been easy. That's why we are almost 1 month to the event, and we are not yet even a half of the required budget. This means fundraising is not easy.
Contributions are needed to cover essentials such as food, security, accommodation, and other logistical needs. The diocese has set a registration fee of 20,000 shillings per participant, but calls for additional support to bridge the funding gap. Additionally, they will welcome in-kind contributions, especially food, to help sustain the conference.
The conference has to take place, and the youth who are coming, we are going to have to feed them, we are going to have to accommodate them, we are going to have to conduct all the planned activities. So we still have hope that we are going to raise the funds. And that's why we are here to appeal to the general populace to see that we all get together and support this conference in all the required ways.
Zako Joyce, the National Youth Coordinator, emphasizes the timeliness of the conference's theme, which intertwines with the Jubilee message of hope, as young people are seen as the hope for the future.
The Holy Father has tried to show the importance of the life of the young people in the church. And that's why he says the young people are the now of the church and they are the hope of the church. Now, bearing at the back of that document, again, the 2 years of the celebration of the World Youth Day, you see the Holy Father has turned this into a kind of thing where the life of the young people should be fully seen in the church. No wonder it is also embedded within the synod on synodality, showing that the young people are really the now of the church, they are the future of the church. Commonly here in Uganda, people say young people are the future. But for the Catholic Church and for the Holy Father, he's saying, you are the now. And he adds that you are the now of Christ.
Hoima Diocese looks forward to bringing together people from all walks of life to support the worthy cause. This event is more than just a conference. It's a unifying moment for the Catholic and the nation to nurture holistic youth, embodying the strength and the faith that will endure for generations to come.
Let us come together. This is a special appeal from Hoima Diocese. I appeal to the entire church, especially in this country. Come and participate in this conference. Send the youth for this conference.
Nora Osende for UCTV News. The leader of opposition, Honorable Joel Senyonyi, has accused the leader of Uganda, President Yoweri Museveni, of hypocrisy for advocating for the merger of the Uganda Coffee Development Authority as a cost-cutting measure while endorsing an expanding cabinet, additional district, and a large number of presidential advisors. Now, speaking to the media at the Parliament after a closed meeting with the opposition legislators, Senyonyi urged that if the government is serious about reducing expenditure, it should consider disbanding certain administrative units, including RDCs and their deputies.
General Museveni called a press conference, and there were several claims, one of which was that UCDA gives coffee seedlings to only opposition MPs. And he was saying that's why we were speaking out in defense of UCDA. He forgets that Parliament generally had thrown out this bill. Parliament has majority NRM. So is he saying, so what exactly was he trying to say? Because initially we had all said no. It's just that he insisted, he called his NRM MPs, threatened them, intimidated them. But for us, he has no authority over us. And so he could not call us to order the way he called to order his leaders within the NRM. So now that he realized we were putting up a spirited fight, he began propaganda. Because to say that UCDA has been giving coffee seedlings to only the opposition, and that's why they are defending it. How about colleagues in the NRM who initially were also speaking in defense of UCDA? Are they also opposition? Is it because they're also being given coffee seedlings? So we would like him to substantiate. We shall not accept propaganda, even if it is from the person occupying State House. Just because the occupying State House does not give you the wherewithal to say whatever you want to say, and you cannot back it up. So now that he has made those claims, we want him to substantiate those claims. Bring evidence so that it does not become okay to spew out propaganda as and when somebody does wish. Again, clearly showing what his motive has been from the word go. He paraded people there, praise singers, for the narrative that he has been taking. I kept thinking, if you are seeking to have a good understanding, why did he not invite some people from within his party who have been against rationalizing UCDA? They didn't have to be from the opposition, but there are people within his party who have been speaking out. Why did he not invite them to hear from them as well? Why did he not invite his senior presidential advisor, Dr. Ezra Suruma, who he pays a salary, facilitates to advise him, and has been speaking and advising him against rationalizing UCDA? Why did he not invite him to that press conference to hear him out as well? We Number one, are encouraging the people of Uganda to keep growing coffee. Because it's possible government wants to demobilize them and discourage them from growing coffee. We are here to encourage Ugandans across the country, in all regions of the country. Please grow even more coffee, because the fight for coffee has not ended. Some think that the fight was wrapped up. No. General Museveni might think he has had his day. No. Coffee is going to be here much longer than him. That's for sure. Government has been saying they are rationalizing to save taxpayers' money. Of course, we have objected to that, saying it is not true. If you're saying you're rationalizing to save taxpayers' money, there are certain other things we should have been seen to be done. And so we want to see, and it's something we are going to push for now and going forward. There are several other entities that are still in place that we think should also be rationalized. Now that you're saying your concern is to save taxpayers' money. So we are going to push that front. There are many other entities that have been created which don't even require a bill in parliament because they are not creatures of statute. Mr. Museveni just issued a directive and they were created. State House Health Monitoring Unit, State House Anti-Corruption Unit, State House Investor Protection Unit, State House Revenue Collection and Operations Unit, State House Land Unit. There's a unit on literally anything and everything in State House, which is fully fledged. It has got its leadership, it's got staff, it is facilitated like an entity. We want to see all those units disbanded.
The Kampala Capital City Authority meeting was unable to proceed after only 24 out of the required 27 councillors attended, falling short of a quorum mandated by the KCCA Act. The key agenda items, including the representation of the solid waste management policy, a report on re-establishment of the Sunday markets, and signing of the previous minutes, were left unaddressed. Now, Speaker Mala Mazula expressed concern over the repeated absences, particularly the councillors on the City Executive Committee, emphasizing they were elected by Ugandans who expect their active participation and service.
Sometimes I become so low when I get into a situation like this. It beats my understanding. I do not understand anymore what my people want. But you know, since you're the media, you have said you have seen them in the corridors, you have said you saw them when council was adjourned, they came in. So that means they had their own reasons as to why they did not come. I cannot explain for them as to why they did not come to council. That one, you can get it out of them. They know best. For other issues, the day the City Executive Committee came out public in writing in the Business Committee and told us that they will never come back to council, was the day we knew that we were bound to face a lot of challenges. But that notwithstanding, at least even if the Lord Mayor is not in council, it does not affect our quorum. We can proceed. But the other councillors that he has have to come to council. So when they are not here, definitely we cannot raise a quorum. So that is the challenge we are getting. Me, I can sit and wait for my councillors, for the members of council. But when the time elapses or expires, the time that is given to us by the law, I cannot do any legality. I just have to adjourn council and go away. Until when they will think that they are now ready to come back to council. I am not protesting, but I'm just speaking my mind because I am so attacked. I don't know what to do anymore. And a lot has been transpiring. We have resolved so many things. Now, for example, we have another challenge of the budget. Presentation of the first budget called circular for the year 2025-2026 to council. But because the City Executive Committee, led by the Lord Mayor, which is supposed to make the presentation to council as mandated by the law, said that they will never come back to council. That gives us a very big challenge. Because now, if they cannot come back to council, then who is going to make the presentation to council? That is why you saw so many invitations for the stakeholders, deal-darling here and there, but that was all not correct, because at least we know that the only resolutions that can be implemented by government, by KCCA, are only those ones that have been passed by council. Because we are the supreme organ, we make the final resolution of what has to be done by management. They only implement lawful decisions made by council. Not any decision by SEC, not by an individual, not by anyone out there. Unless if it is a directive from cabinet, maybe. But when things come to governing the authority, it has to be council or the authority. So we are waiting when our colleagues will feel sorry for the people of Kampala and they come back to council such that business can proceed normally.
Thank you for staying with us on Uctv News. We take a quick break.
UCTV, good news for all.
You are watching UCTV, good news for all. For this and more, tune into Kasese Get Radio 100.5 in Western Region, located at the hill of the Diocese of Kasese. KGR brings you all Catholic programs and an advertising platform in all our radio shows like Good Morning Renzori, Chama Towoka, Ukute, the Business Show, Propeller, the Request Show and Sports, Evaluation by Hingaba Kuluka, Late Night Show, and many others. Our other services include Isuzu Tipa, a Noah car, public address system, live band, Omokekera, an audio recording studio, and outside live broadcast. For more information, call 0773-597-166 or visit our website www.kasesegatradio.com. Kasesegat Radio, Omusondoria, the voice of truth.
Has been surely nice having you. Until tomorrow, for now, have a good night. I am Nora Sende.